Hello everyone, Lytro Storm here, and today we are once again back talking about What If Javier was in Season 1. Now this is a Walking Dead What If, and I've already done 2 parts of this, so this will be part 3. So if you haven't already seen the first 2 parts, I will not be providing a recap because of Telltale's choice system. So basically you need to see parts 1 and 2 if you haven't already. They will both be linked in the description and the comment section. If you're all caught up now, you should know what has happened, and so we can now move on to the video. So if you do end up enjoying and you've enjoyed the series so far, or maybe you've seen some of my other videos, please do consider subscribing and liking the video, maybe sharing the series with your friends. It really would help out since not a lot of my viewers are actually subscribed, so it'd be great to see all of you join, or at least see that number go up a little bit. It'd be awesome, it'd make my day. So basically, let's just get into the video. As always, join my Discord, follow me on Twitter, links in the description. So where we last left off, we had just finished up episode 3 of season 1. So now we're going to moving into episode 4. Now episode 4 begins with our group, now made up of Lee, Clementine, Kenny, Katja, Duck, Javi, Kate, Gabe, Mariana, Krista, Omid, Ben, and Chuck, a much larger group than in canon, way bigger. And so because of this, I do not see Chuck dying during this Walker Street scene. Firstly, they arrive earlier, so there's no telling if there would be as many walkers. And secondly, his death in canon is kinda dumb. Like, it's an open street, and you can clearly cut through the walkers. There really aren't that many when you look at it. But he just chooses to stay behind for what reason exactly? Here, with quite a few more people, there's no way he's getting pinned down like he did in canon. The whole group escapes and makes it to the house, where they get inside, using the dog collar, and begin searching for supplies. Afterward, Kenny would go out with Lee to look for boats, and Chuck would want to come with. This time, they would be hoping that they find multiple, as just one would definitely not fit their group of 13. Everyone knows this, and Kenny's idea faces even more criticism because of this. Nevertheless, they still try. Upon going, they find Molly, who Lee and Chuck promptly outmaneuver. This means that there would be no gunshot from Kenny, since he wouldn't be on edge, and would stop once Chuck and Lee tell him to. The 3 talk to Molly and learn about Crawford, as well as that the boats were all taken. Molly eventually decides to dip, not wanting to join a group with a failing idea. The 3 men then head back to the house, where Lee hears something in the shed. He opens it to find Mariana and Clementine. The 2 were exploring the house and found the shed, which inside held a boat. Kenny sees this and is shocked, but everyone tells him that there's no way this plan will work with just a single boat. This means that Kenny would be all alone with his idea. With even Katja knowing that they had to stick together with the group, they couldn't just go off with a couple of people and leave everyone else for dead. Everyone would be against him, leading to a scene where he storms off and Lee has to go talk to him. He heads upstairs to the attic and finds Kenny looking at the Walker child. There, he would express his worry for Duck's safety and how this kid embodied his fear. This is what would happen to Duck if he didn't go through with his plan. This adds sympathy to Kenny, now having everyone turned away from him. As Lee, you can indulge Kenny's idea, not wanting to hurt him. You can understand him but disagree, or you could tell him that his idea is absolutely stupid. This would once again change your relationship with Kenny, giving you different loyalty points depending on what you did. You then kill the Walker child yourself or let Kenny do it. He comes down telling everyone that he's alright. He has basically let go of the plan, and everyone wonders what they're going to do now. There is no plan at this point. That was their only one, and it's half-baked. Clementine then says that if there aren't any plans, then they can try and find her parents. They have the map that shows the Marsh house, so all they have to do is go there. Lee will then tell her that they can tomorrow, to which she is slightly upset, not as much as in canon. Everyone gets some sleep, and upon waking up, Lee finds Clementine missing. He searches outside, eventually finding her hat, which leads him to be bitten on the wrist, just like in canon. Everyone goes outside, and Lee can now choose to conceal his bite or show it, once again just like in canon. Now originally, Lee has 2 ways to recruit Omid and Krista on his trek to find Clem. If he leaves Clementine with Omid while they go to Crawford, or if he reveals the bite. Here, since they never go to Crawford, you can only get them to go with you if you reveal the bite. Kenny will go with you if you have a high friendship level with him throughout the season, or if you tell him that Clementine is your family. If your loyalty isn't high, then he will say the iconic line that he says in canon,
I am a Christian man.
Ben will come with you if you tell him to think about Clem, and Javi will come no matter what. Throughout this season, he's kinda just been the middleman. He doesn't really care. He's just going with whoever. He does like Lee though, so. Kate would choose to stay behind along with Katja and the kids to make sure that they're safe. Lastly, Chuck will tell you that this is exactly what he had warned you about. Remember back in part 2, when Chuck gives Lee the warning about what could happen to Clementine. He basically just says that you have to do this without him, as it's something that you have to do. He then asks if you're ready to do this. Lee would say yes, and head toward the Marsh house with his crew. Now because there is no Vernon and the cancer survivor shenanigans, as well as no Crawford quest, episode 4 and 5 would be significantly shorter. This would actually be where episode 4 ends, maybe with the stranger calling and talking to Lee like in the end of the actual episode 4, just minus all the Vernon stuff. Anyway, let's call that a wrap for episode 4 and begin the 5th episode. Now this would go much different with the same concept, with the group going from rooftop to rooftop to try and get to the Marsh house while avoiding the walkers. Once on the rooftop with the sign that Lee tried to cross in canon, Lee passes out. This led to way more walkers appearing in the time where he is asleep, and them realizing that they have to do something. Lee eventually comes to and remembers the bells that Molly rang at some point in episode 4, and says that someone has to ring it to clear out all the walkers. Here's who goes and who stays, depending on who you have with you. Obviously, if you have Javi, he will go to do it. If you have one other person along with Javi or Krista and Omid, Javi will still do it while the others stay. If you have Javi, Kenny, and Ben, Kenny will go. If you have Javi, Kenny, Krista, and Omid, both Kenny and Javi will go. If you have Javi, Ben, Omid, and Krista, then Krista and Javi will go. And lastly, if you have everyone, then Kenny and Krista will go. Anyway, once they leave to go ring the bell, and Lee has said some brief dialogue with himself or whoever stayed about him not coming back and why they should protect Clementine and all that, he will pass out yet again and be awoken by the bell. He would then say goodbye to everyone or pray or something if he's alone. He heads down with much less walkers and with both arms, a cleaver in one and a glass shard in the other. He kills any walkers he has to and makes it inside the Marsh house. There, he and the stranger talk about Lee's choices, before Clementine or Lee ends up killing him. A walker then comes out of the closet. Wow, I didn't expect to be saying that sentence, but hey, it's 2020, I won't judge. Anyway, the two leave after Lee covers them both in guts, and as they leave, they find a few walkers still straggling behind. Among them are Clementine's parents, seen only before Lee passes out. Clem brings him to the police station and fights off the walker before Lee tells her to shoot him or leave him. After this, cut to black. Reopen with Clementine walking toward the house and opening the door in a POV shot, seeing the entire group surprised to see her. And that is where season 1 ends. As for 400 days, I can see that still playing out the same, even with Vernon not finding the boat. They'd have to leave the bunker at some point because of food, so the only change would be that Bree and potentially Vernon would be alive, and with the group we see in Shell's story. Either way, they'd probably die, or at least be unknown since Shell and Becca end up alone when Tavia shows up. So ultimately guys, Javier and the Garcias being in season 1 makes quite a big impact. Kenny never goes through his character arc, Katja, Duck, Ben, and Chuck all survive, Kenny never gets separated from the group, Molly barely appears, and Vernon's group never does. Going into season 2, this should make even larger impacts that I'm excited to think about and share with you guys. Let me know if you enjoyed this and want to see it be continued into season 2. But as always, tell me if you liked this part, tell me what you think will happen next, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.